Before we get started, I want to let you know this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We'll talk about them more later in the episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Marriage Be Hard podcast. I am Melissa.
I'm Kevin.
And on this podcast, which was spawned from our New York Times bestseller book by the same name, Marriage Be Hard, we talk about love, relationships, and all of the things. We talk to some of our favorite couples and people that we've known or have known or just met, on the interwebs. And today we have Elliot and Lorissa Nelson, all the way. Where are you guys at?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
In North Carolina. Come on and raise it.
The greatest city of all time.
Raleigh?
Raleigh, the greatest city of all time. I'm a Raleigh boy, though, so
I'm about to say, you have to be born and raised there to believe that. I have nothing against Raleigh. I just haven't heard anybody who wasn't from Raleigh say that.
Greatest city of the world.
Tell us
number
why.
One for a reason.
It's number one. Oh, is this like a statistics ranking that you've best city in the world ranking you pull?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of different reports that have come up, like number one for African American business, small business. Number one for
this is quantifiable.
That's
You're not just saying this.
He's read a list.
You can Google it.
It's a Googleable fact.
It's a Googleable fact. Yep, that's it.
Did I make that up?
That's it.
Googleable fact?
Googleable fact?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. Okay, before we get started, I need you to turn profile because do I see an earring? Elliot?
Oh.
Yes, I did. I did see an earring. Yeah. Okay. All right. We see the things. I said, is that a pearl that I see? Hold on a second.
Now, to be honest, I made him get that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So all of my life, and you asked about earlier, you asked about the PK thing. Like, my dad was not a pastor or a preacher.
Okay.
But in the house, obviously he is a preacher. So I consider myself a low-key PK.
You have very pastoral preacher voice.
I low-key thought you were in ministry. Are you in ministry?
We'll talk about this later on.
No, now is the time.
As God has moved.
Listen, let's start from the beginning because I actually watch as much as y'all shared online, the love story unfold on social media. So tell us, I'll tell you from my perspective, it seemed to have gone from met, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, married quick.
Yes.
Okay. And then it was like, baby, boom. And I was like, wait.
Then second baby, boom.
Second baby was a little bit longer. I felt like I caught my breath.
Yeah, we took a breath.
Yeah, I took our breath. And then, So walk us through, because I was following online. I said, now, wait a minute. All I did was one swipe. How we get here?
I know.
So talk to us about your love story. How did you guys meet? What that process of dating was like, the marriage thing, and then if you would, because we're churchy as well, and I think this is the component that I'm most interested in and see how much overlap there is, the component of being churchy and if I can say saving yourself and getting married and all of that.
All right, so I met this beautiful woman on Twitter.
On Twitter.
Oh, on Twitter.
We met on Twitter.
So
interesting.
To make a long story long.
Yes, because we love details over here, Elliot. Okay.
So in my life specifically, like I had moved to Atlanta back in like 2017 or something like that in October.
Oh, so Raleigh ain't the number one city.
Yeah.
He left. I mean, I'm just saying.
Left. Why would
if
you
it was the number one city, why you leave?
And that's a wild story in and of itself.
Yeah. Like I said, long story long. So I moved to Atlanta, and this is where it kind of kicks in that, I moved for a month, so it was like a staycation. When I came back, I wrecked my life in Atlanta. So I thought that the Lord was telling me to go, but that was not the case. It's probably like everybody else who goes to Atlanta. It's probably not really the Lord, but it's okay.
At least you know now, Elliot.
At least you know now.
Yeah. So, I went with the expectation that that's where I was going to, begin my life. I moved back here, and that's when things got a little weird for me because I'd never really had God in my relationship life before.
Meaning a personal relationship with God.
Well, no, also just having the Lord just be in my dating relationship.
Oh, I see.
Like figuring it out on that side of things. And so just weird things started happening. I saw her on Facebook one time, didn't even know that we were friends on Facebook. And I immediately was like, wow, she's fine. I don't have a job though. So therefore, I'm not going to shoot this shot at all. And so I remember telling God, I'm not doing any type of dating, any type of shooting a shot until I get a job. Super Bowl 2018, that's when the Philadelphia Eagles were beating up on the Patriots.
Okay.
Remember it like it's yesterday.
Philly
And
special.
then and pretty much like on Twitter, I just got this notification that Larissa messaged you, and I was like,
Ooh, you dropped into
"Why?"
the DMs, Larissa.
I slid in
You
his
slid?
In my
I slid
DMs.
in.
You slid?
Yeah. So I looked and I was like, why is this girl messaging me or whatever it was? And I just looked at her profile maybe like 2 days ago. So I thought that was super weird, but I already had kept my like, yo, I'm not dating nobody till I get a job. So we just kind of talked. The first message she said was, hey, I always thought you were fine.
Shut up.
Okay,
Did
bye.
you really say that?
I did. I saw him on my timeline.
When
And I
women
didn't even
slide,
know
they
we
don't.
were following.
Y'all don't even leave nothing to check. I like the way your face goes in my eyes when my brain turns the image upside down. I like what I see in my eyes.
And I didn't even know we followed each other. And so I saw him on my timeline. I was like, who is this chocolate brother who I ain't never seen on my timeline? But we follow each other.
Yeah.
And so something was like, let me just shoot my shot and see where it goes.
Yeah. So
And
we,
obviously,
yeah.
I won the championship.
Won the championship.
Yeah. So she ended up messaging me and I kind of looked up and was like, Lord, is that you? Like, what's going on? And then the next day I got a job offer.
Shut up.
Literally the next day. And so
Oh my
that's when
God.
I was like, all right, this is too good to be true. Okay. If I'm going to date somebody, I need a car. Because I was driving my dad's Dodge Stratus, like 2000. The door was all cranky and everything like that. I said, I'm not going to put nobody in this car. And so I said, yo, like, I need a car to just even things out a little bit. And then 2 weeks later, I got a car. And so that's when I kind of realized that, okay, the Lord is kind of doing something with my dating relationship now. And we started getting close. We started, talking a little bit. We were long distance. She was in
Long
Indianapolis.
distance, by the way. That's where I'm from, Indianapolis.
Yeah, she's from Indianapolis. I'm, here in Raleigh. We just talking, just shooting it. And one day I just started developing feelings for her, like really quick, probably quicker than I could ever like imagine, to the point that it kind of scared me a little bit. And so I kind of asked like, some of my homies like, yo, like I kind of like this girl. We've only been talking for like a month.
I was
I
just
don't
about
know
to
if
ask
this
you the
is
timeline.
real.
Are you serious? It's only been a month?
Yeah, it was only a month.
A month.
It was only a month till we started kind of falling for each other. We hadn't seen each other in person at that time. And then after that, that's what, February, March, April. We didn't see each other till May. I flew her out here. She got flued out.
Hey, all expenses is paid for.
Come on, sit down.
Yeah, so I flew her out, and that very first weekend, I just knew that she was my wife. And that was a whole dramatic. That Tyler Perry
That
couldn't
was
write a
the
better
most
script.
magical weekend of my
Aw.
life. It's literally one of those love stories that you see in a movie or like hear in a
Yeah.
storybook. When we saw each other for the first time, it was literally like love at first sight. And I
Yeah.
think we had already been in love with each other at that point through FaceTime and just, having those conversations, getting to know each other.
Yeah.
But when we actually saw each other for the first time, I was like,
It was a wrap.
this is it.
Yeah, it was
Like
a wrap.
it was incredible.
Yeah.
So after that, we were doing the long distance thing up until November of 2018.
Mhm.
And that's when he moved to Indiana because we knew that we wanted to be with each other. And I'll let you tell the rest.
You
of the
moved to
story.
Indiana?
Yeah,
That's
he moved to
love.
Indiana. I know.
Boy, you bought a ticket to Indiana, said I'm finna live up in here.
Yeah.
Listen. Like I just remember like when actually even before then, I had a good paying job, and then out of nowhere I got laid off. And so I was like, well, there's nothing else to do. Like I'm trying to find my way. The doors aren't opening here in Raleigh at the moment for jobs. And so
No more titty
I had
He's gonna bring it up as anytime he can. Okay.
I know.
If I didn't think
So,
we working out, no
no,
more titty in the world.
we had a conversation. I actually had went to Indianapolis for about a week or so. And I remember us just having a conversation like, yo, we got to choose what we're going to do. And so she felt like, justified that that we should start in Indianapolis. And in my mind, obviously, because I am a Raleigh boy who only knows warm weather for the most part of the year, said, I don't know how this was gonna work.
Right.
But we gonna try to make this work. And so she flew out here, got in the car with me, and drove all the way back to Indianapolis
Wow.
with me, with all of my stuff and everything. And yeah, by that time, I think the very first weekend it was like 5 degrees, and I was like, I'm ready to go.
Woo!
Oh yeah.
He
So
loved you.
Yes.
yeah, I love this girl. I would do it all over again. But I'll probably tell her to come to Raleigh. Let's just think about it. But yeah, that was November, and then I was working at FedEx, just trying to get my feet on the ground. And I remember the Lord saying, it's time to go or something like that. And I said, time to go where? I'm waiting on the job from you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like, that's not my issue. It's like, no, it's time to get married. And at that time, we weren't going to get married to the first quarter of 2019.
Okay.
It was like November, December, and I started feeling this way. And I was like, babe, I think the Lord wants us to do this like now. And she was like, hold up. Like, you've only been here for a month. Like, we like at that time I was living in her parents' basement too. So that's the whole thing in and of itself as well. I straightened up. Yeah, so I was living in our parents' basement as well, and then after that, I just felt like it just kept coming up. Like people would call me and like, yo, like what if you just get married out of nowhere? And I was like, I don't know if you're reading my mind or what that is, but I'm just going to continue with this. And so we kind of got some counsel for it, and then I started planning it. A lot of people thought it was going to be on Christmas Day. It didn't happen that way because obviously that is too predictable.
Yeah.
And so she kind of was in on it a little bit, but she still didn't know how things was going to happen. And so December 28th, our bishop at the time, he's still our bishop in many sensible ways because he's still close to us. But I reached out to him and said, hey, we're just trying to go ahead and get married. And he said, do marriage counseling ASAP, but let's go ahead and do it. And so I had him come up to the restaurant that we were going to be at. And I asked for her hand in marriage that night. And then 2 minutes later, we got married. So.
Yes. That's what I remember.
2 minutes later?
Literally 2 minutes later.
Like 1 second, 2 seconds, 120.
Yeah. Like this December 28th is when we got engaged. December 28th is when we got married. Yeah. And literally 5 minutes later.
So how did you have it planned? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All of this was in a time span of what, 10 months? Everything happening. 10 months. Yep, it was. Because
we met in February, we got married in December. So yeah, so in the planning process, I knew that she started getting antsy a little bit, and she's not going to, admit to it, but she kept.
I started getting antsy because he was living in my basement.
Yeah,
I said, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it right.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Yeah, so she got antsy a little bit, and I kept saying like, yo, like I know what I'm doing, got this. I know what I'm supposed to do. I got with her sisters. I said, hey, like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the Eagles Nest in Indianapolis. I need everybody there. Actually, like, make sure that everybody is, like, ready to go. Make sure she don't know, but she kind of still knew. She bought a whole white jumpsuit.
Shut up.
So she kind of knew
yeah.
what was going on.
That might be just in case jumpsuit.
Yeah. Just in case something jump off.
You could use it for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah, that's the next thing I was gonna say. I kept saying to everybody, "Do not say a thing." And
they didn't say nothing, but they
gave
don't
too
know
many
how to
hints.
keep secrets.
They gave too many hints, so they already knew. But she didn't know. I told her we were going to a Pacers game, and she was like, "I don't want to do that." I said, "Well, that's what we got." And we didn't go to a Pacers game that day, but I was trying to make it so there was still some element of surprise.
Yeah,
we got downstairs and her family was there, and I had her, gave my little spiel, and that was that. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And we had went to the courthouse to get our marriage license and everything. So we knew that was coming. She knew it was coming. She just didn't know all the intricate details of how it was going to happen.
Oh.
And you cannot guess proposal and marriage in the same night. Even if y'all knew y'all was getting married, ain't nobody gonna be like, "Oh, will you marry me?" Yes. Also, 2 minutes from now.
And now the procession was happening.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something off a movie.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe a Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that. Okay, so at this point, we are in 2018, you said? The end of 2018. So right now, you guys have been married for basically 5 years. Is
Yeah.
that math?
It will be 5 years.
5 years in December.
5 years in December. Okay, so really you guys have been married for about 15 years because you guys went through the pandemic together.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh,
have the
yeah.
exponential. You gotta ask that pandemic is exponential coefficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Each year on the
Pandemic
pandemic was
with a
3.
toddler.
Yeah.
Oh
With
no,
the-
that's 5. That's how you got to 15.
That's how I got to 15.
The toddler plus the baby. That's that 2020 was 5 years. 21 was another 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have been saying that marriage is a process of self-discovery. And in as much as you are kind of self-discovering yourself, your partner is also, while they are self-discovering, you are self-discovering each other at the same time. So tell me about, first of all, how old were you guys when you got married?
I was 28.
28?
And I was 25.
Okay, 25. So you're not old. You're not young, but you're not old either. 28 is a
Right.
good 25. That's a
good clean
good,
age.
solid.
Good
age.
solid
Yeah,
age. You're
good.
respectable.
But also, you're also 28 though. So again,
Yeah.
you're not old, you're not young, but you've lived. You know, you have a way of doing things. So tell me about this process of living together, becoming parents together, coupling that with the whole pandemic. Like, tell us about that, what you have learned in this journey that you can share with our audience about marriage and everything you guys have gone through in these, close to 5 years.
I will say, for lack of a better term, I learned that marriage be hard.
You know what? Someone should write a book about
Come on.
this.
Somebody should write a book.
I feel
Make
like
it
you
a
might.
New York Times
You
bestseller.
might
And
make
make
that
it a New York
list.
Times bestseller.
You might make that list.
You know what's so funny is I am intentionally not offended when people say marriage is not hard. And the reason why is because I think there could be a sentiment around what I'm saying that that lands on people, negatively.
Yes.
And I think at the end of the day, the reason marriage can be hard is exactly what I said. And this is a small example I just gave in another episode. When Kevin and we got married even younger than you guys. We were 20 and 21 years old, okay? Neither one of us liked avocado at that time. I love avocado now.
Yeah.
Listen,
Love it.
avocado on some toast.
Oh my goodness.
I went from liking it to
Hey,
I'm
I
okay
didn't
without
like
it.
it either until I got married.
Literally, like there's so many things
Your
that
taste
change.
buds is it every
I think
7 years? Your taste buds change. You can develop. I didn't have allergies. Then I had a full hairline. That's gone. So I went from avocado, salmon. I hated.
Yep.
I hated spicy food. Now I eat all those things and no hairline. Still same woman.
Yes. And I think in going through, again, we're being funny because we're just talking about food, but it is an example of like the things that you change over time. So tell us about that. Like and I don't mean this in a way of like, tell us all the negative things about marriage because marriage is beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to say something right before you answer that. I want to say something about marriage be hard.
I want to take a quick break from the show to let you know this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Listen, it's so easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and never take a moment to think about your own self. What do you need from yourself? When we spend all of our time giving, it can leave us feeling stretched thin and burned out. Therapy can give you the tools to find more balance in your life so you can keep supporting others without leaving yourself behind. Listen, therapy has helped me to do just that. I give a lot as a husband, a father, a friend, a brother, an employer, a son, a grandson. There's a lot of people that I got to help financially, emotionally, physically, and sometimes I got nothing left for old Kev. And you cannot give from a place of emptiness. So therapy has helped me to prioritize my own self. And that means sometimes I just got to do the proper things, make sure I'm still good. And that's all we're trying to tell you to do with BetterHelp. Listen, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. All right? Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MBH today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp. Once again, HELP.com/MBH. And now back to the show.
Anything of value that is important to you is hard to maintain. If
you work for it.
You work for it. If you want to be in great physical shape, it's hard to eat right, consistently work out, get enough rest, drink enough water. Maintaining your hair. You got to drink the right things. Wrap your hair up at night. You know how many black women fall asleep and they
Oh,
can
they
never
funny.
get fully sleep good if they haven't wrapped their hair. They're like,
Mm.
I know, and in my sleep, I got to get up and wrap this hair. I'm gonna pay for it
Yeah.
tomorrow. So we're not saying hard in the sense of like it's all doom and gloom. We're just saying it's gonna take some work to maintain that.
Sacrifice.
Friendships, parenting your parents, navigating those boundaries when your parents are like, nah, I'm gonna tell y'all to sit down now
Listen to
because I done
me.
had enough out of y'all. And
Yeah.
and then you got it. So we don't mean to say we're not talking about abuse, disrespecting your spouse. We are just talking about the act of constantly maintaining a healthy relationship is
Yeah.
hard. That's all. Now,
And I always say,
Gosh.
everything in life is hard. You have to literally choose your hard.
Come on.
yeah,
So
you
whatever
talk
your
about
hard
it.
is going to be, you just got to choose it. If you're going to be single, that's hard. If you're gonna be
Yes.
married, that's hard. Parentless, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Everything
so
is hard,
tell
you
us.
just have to choose it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So tell us about these 5 years.
Oh my. So it's crazy that you ask that because I have been discovering was it this morning that it was yesterday when I asked you for a hug.
Yeah.
I started feeling discouraged because I said to myself, I did not realize how much was wrong with me. I didn't realize all
Did you
of the
start a
issues that I
therapy?
had. Yeah, I
She has a therapist.
Because that'll be the one where you be like, oh my God.
Yes. Oh my God. I didn't realize how many issues I had until I got married and started having children. And so the older I get, or the deeper I get into our marriage or motherhood, the more of those character flaws I discover about myself. So recently so I got diagnosed with ADHD in college. Back then I just kind of brushed it off and kept moving on with my life. But this thing, me having ADHD and being a highly sensitive person, really didn't come out until I got married. And I didn't even have language for it until like recently. And so here I am, like trying to figure out why I'm getting so triggered on a daily basis and why noise bothers me so much and why him doing all of these little itty bitty things irk me so bad. And I'm like, it's because of this, and this. And marriage and motherhood has been pulling all of that stuff out of me. And it is the most excruciating thing to just kind of like look yourself in the mirror and having to stare down this list of all of these things that are wrong with you because of these people who I live with every single day. So that's kind of what I've been journeying through lately. Not lately, pretty much these whole daggone 5 years of marriage. And it is, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's the hardest thing ever.
Yeah. And I think the hardest thing for me is actually having to navigate this new stuff that is coming about. Like understanding now I understood my wife when dating. I understood her first year of marriage. But then second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, it's like I'm married to the same woman, but I'm married to the same woman with different complexities about her.
Come on, say it again.
Trying to figure it out on the fly sometime is hard. Anybody who like knows me knows I'm quick to call one of my brothers who's equally a husband too, who's might be dealing with the same thing. Like, hey, like, how do I navigate this while also trying to navigate myself?
Right.
I got things that I'm trying to change, things that are inside of me. We talked about ministry. I had no idea that I had all this other stuff that was going on inside of me from a gift perspective. So now I have to also navigate that as well. And top it off that I didn't know toddlerhood would be such a crazy
they're terrorists at this age.
Oh my God.
They're terrorists. How old are your kids right now?
Literally in the trenches. She's 3.5. So we have a 3.5.
She whooping y'all butt, boy. I wish I could catch y'all. That y'all both lean forward. She been killing y'all.
And a 3-month-old.
That exasperation. Listen, y'all. She been winning. Like I know the war might not be over, but she got about 6 battles in a row. We got to retreat. We got to look at the paperwork. She been victorious
this week alone. Like I just yeah.
That head scratch ain't nothing itching. You looking for answers. You're so searching for answers up there. I know that because we've been there. We've been there. We looked at each other.
Look.
Where this baby came from? This your side of the family.
Oh, man.
We don't know nobody on my side of the family that act like this.
Why are you saying nothing itching? You looking for answers? It's so funny.
Oh man. No, legit. I am looking for answers almost every day. Like we had this conversation yesterday. Lorissa told me to read a book. I said, "How me reading a book is not going to help this situation right now. It's really not going to help." Like I just don't. I don't get it. But
I remember our son. I had an idea of what parenting was, and I had an idea of what I thought other parents were. And you just ain't raising your kid bad. When I had my own kids, I said, "Boy, you didn't know nothing you was talking about.
Yeah.
You should have hushed."
yeah,
Because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get this one to stop crying. He won't listen, and you can't even threaten him with whooping. That's all I had.
No.
Why it's not working?
At this age, they don't care.
That boy said, "Whoop me," and I still ain't going to bed.
Yes.
Now what's next?
I literally don't care
Oh.
about your belt or your attitude. Like, get away from me.
I remember the time we told that, "Oh, if you don't do it, you're gonna go to bed hungry." He was like, "I'll go to bed."
I'll
We
go to
were
bed
like,
hungry. I don't care.
Oh, God.
Is this a consequence? I'm confused.
Don't understand why this stuff it worked for me.
Yes. But I'm gonna give you guys some encouragement right now. You said she's 3.5.
Mhm.
Y'all almost out.
Almost done.
That's
Yeah,
what I
Praise
keep
God.
hearing. But then also on the flip side, they say 4 is even worse because they
Once
get mouthier.
Yes, but that's true. But once she hits school age and she gets that structure from the teacher and she'll be a different person. You'll like her again. You'll like her. I know you love her, but you'll like her
Golden owl hope.
right around 5. Right
Oh,
around
that's
5.
funny.
That's when my niece, how old is Kenny? 6? Yeah,
Mhm.
Kenny is 6. She's my favorite little person on earth right now. She be
Yeah.
talking. I have a good time with her. My little bitty niece, I love that little baby though. Don't get me wrong. She's 2, but she is a terrorist.
Mm. Mm-mm.
She is a terrorist.
Yeah, you should see mine trying to leave church. She loved church so bad that like she want to sleep over and have a whole breakdown. Love you. I know you're not gonna see this, but love you, Laura. I really do. I really, really do.
I love it. Okay, so let's go back. So you are married. So 3. Oh my goodness.
Mm.
That means you had her at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yep, right.
Do you wanna
was
hear the story?
Yes.
Oh, that's why them pandemic. They say them pandemic children different.
Then pandemic children, and you're newly married.
Mm.
Yeah, we got pregnant 3 months after we got married. So the plan was
Tell us what the plan was.
the plan was to wait about a year or 2 to start having children, but I wanted to come off of birth control because it was killing my sex drive. And I was
Okay.
like, I'm newly married, like this gotta go. My doctor at the time told me that it takes 6 to
She said a year and some change.
a
to
year, a
conceive.
year and a half to conceive after you come off of birth control.
Oh, girl.
We said cool.
I
Bet.
got pregnant 2 weeks
God,
after she told us that.
that's when your baby started working. She said, "Let me tell you, I'm gonna mess up. The first thing I'm gonna mess up is this."
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually surprised that we're even talking about this again because I'm thinking about the toddler running around now and
Ab-
doing all this stuff. And she came in and disrupted our honeymoon phase.
Wow.
But no, so yeah, we had her 3 months into it. And very much a surprise. I came home from work and she was like, "Babe, I got something to tell you." And I was like, I personally do not like when someone says we need to talk or I got something to tell you.
Just come out with it.
Just come on out and say it. Send me a text message. You know I'm at work. You got all this stuff planned out. And literally, I opened up a bag and there was a pregnancy test. I said, "You got to be joking."
I know you lying.
I know we just moved into our nice little apartment.
Aw.
We having a good old time. We haven't even had a honeymoon.
Man.
Still to this day.
Still to this day.
To this
Yeah.
day?
To
We
this
ain't
day.
been nowhere because of these kids.
Because of these kids.
And the pandemic kind of shut y'all down too. I'm
And
not
the
gonna lie.
pandemic
Yeah,
shut
the
us
combination of the pandemic shut y'all down too.
Yeah, so we had her. We got pregnant, and in 2019, December 2019, a week before our anniversary, she was born. And then that's when we ran into the pandemic, and at that time, like I don't know what was I doing. I was delivering packages for Amazon because the pandemic shut everything down.
Yep.
But that was a trial of time in and of itself, and trying to figure out and navigate that as well. On top of my wife saying she wants to relocate.
Oh, this is where you moved.
This is where we moved back to the
Back to
greatest
Raleigh.
That was the Redden City. Wait, y'all moved in the pandemic? You mean the quarantine part of it?
I think it was like halfway quarantine, halfway you can get out the house a little bit, but bring your butt back home.
Yeah, because we moved in October of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when moving was we still was in. And moving was crazy expensive at this time as well.
Yeah.
Everybody was moving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought
Yeah.
you were saying it was expensive.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
It
Yeah,
was expensive.
moving was way expensive because
Oh,
everybody
because
was trying to
everybody was
move.
relocating. Got it.
So
I see.
U-Haul was like, yeah, man, boxes is $1,000 now.
Yeah,
People was
yeah.
like, what? Y'all ain't never done this.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ain't no trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're moving also cross country too.
Yeah, that's a
so
pretty big
a hefty
distance.
move.
Oh, yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we did that, and then after that, like we were kind of smooth sailing, and so in the midst of like the past 5 years, it's literally have been like go, figure it out on the fly type of thing. I don't think we really had time to kind of settle down and really sit and like figure out like what really is going in our
Yeah.
lives.
Yeah, you
outside
guys have had a
being
lot of
kids.
transitions in 5
Yeah,
years.
we were just
Yeah.
thrown into the timeline, just moving so fast, and we didn't really have time to just slow down, take a break, catch our breath until what was it? Last year, the beginning of last year is when we kind of started. Things started slowing down, and then I got pregnant again, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Y'all got y'all life on all Madden.
I mean,
Y'all not doing the.
and we wasn't even trying. Now that's a
Y'all was doing something.
Listen, yes, you were.
I mean, we were doing something.
You weren't trying
obviously.
not to.
Correct. And so now, the face.
to tell you, I don't know how PG we can be, but
You ain't got to be PG
we were
over here.
trying. We were trying to avoid it as much as possible using different avenues. as
Oh
much as
yeah,
possible.
you done pulled out a little bit too late. Just a little bit too late. Got to be quicker than that.
Got to be quicker than that. Okay, so tell me your girls' names.
Elora and Elena.
Elora and
Oh,
Elena.
those
Okay.
beautiful names.
Yes. So Elena is 3 months.
Yes.
Okay, so you are 3 months now post all the craziness that has been the last 5 years. Are you guys taking the time now to rekindle, edify, solidify, strengthen the bond that is the two of you in this season?
So I want.
Don't lie.
No, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm also going to tell some sort of the truth. So I think we. I think
You got to position.
I think
it right.
I think we realized that we needed to do that, and so
Yes.
we're working on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not saying that we have been, but we are working on it daily. It is definitely a big fight because obviously a 3-month-old has another demand.
Yeah.
Not everybody can watch the 3-month-old.
Yeah.
Not everybody ain't able to watch the 3-month-old.
Listen, that baby is cute on Instagram.
That's it.
But
Yeah,
in my
that's
house,
it.
it's totally it'll be different when you got the 3-month-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, we are working on it. We are definitely like we just had the conversation of doing date nights a lot more than we have been. I think even prior to we were actually starting it before we got pregnant again. That we were going out on dates every Saturday almost and doing the things. I think that was really a great time. But I think once we got pregnant, she got super sick. That kind of derailed a whole lot of stuff. So
Yeah. Go ahead. Say your full time. Sorry.
No, yeah, like I said, we are definitely working on it and trying our best to work on it. So, yeah.
As a woman that's been now almost married for 20 years. Okay. Well, we're approaching 19 years.
In like 4 weeks.
Yes, in just a few weeks. So we've been through, we haven't done the moves that you've done, but we've been through a lot of transition. And one of the things we actually talk about in the book, and I can just offer just as like my own piece of like words of wisdom, is that transition, I said this in the book, but transition in general is a very fragile time. When you think about the transition of power from president to president in the United States, the reason why we ensure that that is a peaceful transfer of power is because when it is not, that's why Donald Trump was so dangerous.
The Capitol storm was during that time.
That transition, this entire country could crumble because that transition didn't happen smoothly.
Yeah.
And when you think about, I'm thinking right now actually about like an earthquake, when the tectonic plates are moving, it causes chaos. It causes ruckus. When you think about the last 5 years of your relationship, it's been a lot of transition, very fragile times. And so you have to be really sure that just like in LA, these buildings are made for earthquakes, because we know that, listen, chaos is going to happen, okay? Transition's going to happen. A shake is going to happen. So you have to build buildings that are structurally sound to sustain that shake. And so we're going to reinforce, I don't know the reals, but you understand. We're going to reinforce corners. We're going to ensure that the foundation is solid. We're going to ensure that once the shake comes, the building can still stand. And so my encouragement is, don't let these 5 years be such a transition for you guys, such a shake that your foundation breaks.
Yeah.
Find each other again. Find the girl that dropped in the DMs and said, hey, my dude, you kind of fine.
Yeah.
Straight like that.
Straight like that.
And also give yourself grace.
Yes.
That of what you've endured, like the pandemic, especially the quarantine part of it, unprecedented stress.
100 years before anything like this happened.
Literally 100.
Yes.
The Roaring Twenties was a result of the 1918
flu pandemic.
Flu. And so you guys, like we joked about the 5 years is 15 years. You guys have had
a lot.
Tremendous pressure that a move or 2 moves, right?
Essentially.
There's
there's
move back.
There's a move as in cross state. But then almost every year we move like different apartment, house, apartment.
Either one of those are frustrating. The birth of the wedding and the birth of a child, the birth of another child. Like those are hard even without the other things or without a pandemic. You guys literally had all of them. So give yourself some grace that you guys are still married, still parenting, because many marriages failed under these circumstances. People couldn't find each other, to Melissa's point. They just were like, all right, I'm not doing this anymore. So I really commend you guys, because we struggled during the first part of that pandemic, and we didn't move across country.
We did move, but not cross country.
Yeah, not cross country. But we didn't have no new kids, no new jobs, and it was tough. So I commend y'all on still sitting in front of us today with that 3-year-old too. That's probably
because listen, you add a 3-month-old and a 3.5-year-old girl.
I know.
You be like, throw these kids in the garbage. What'd you say?
It almost was not like that. There's been plenty of times when I just wanted to be like, I can't do this anymore because it's been so hard. I personally, by nature, do not like hard things.
Come on.
I don't like transition. I don't like change. I literally stayed in my room my entire life up until the point that I got married. And so transition, change, all of those things just make me feel so uncomfortable to the point where I be wanting to run away. And I tell him all the time, I'm about to. And there's been times when I've been very serious about that. And I think it was last year or the year before, because I wrote that marriage post on an anniversary last year. I think it was a year before that, but we really almost didn't make it. It was to the point where we kind of couldn't figure our way because things just started getting so foggy. But like you said, I tried to go back to that foundation, and I feel like our foundation is friendship. Like when I shot my shot in the DMs, I didn't really have an agenda to fall in love with him or pursue a romantic relationship. I just wanted a genuine friendship as I started getting to know him. And so every time I go back to that foundation, it kind of just grounds me.
That is so good, Lorissa. Friendship. And the other thing is recognizing y'all ain't the same person either. So there is some self-discovery again, or rediscovering of one another. Like, it's only been 5 years, but also it's been 5 years. So like really like let's go out on the first date again and get to know me again because like you said, Lorissa, you've gotten to know yourself differently because one thing marriage is going to do, one thing parenthood is going to do is put up a mirror to you. That'd be the hard part. You'd be like, first of all, I thought this. I tell Kevin, listen. You be like, yeah. So I like to solve problems with very open communication, and I don't like to go to bed angry, and I just like for us to work it out. And then in real life, you be like, I'm so angry that I'm going to either fight you or I have to walk out the door. Those are my two options. There's no communicating. I'm going to punch you or I have to leave.
Yeah. And how many times have we been there?
Listen. Yeah, so you say one thing, you think you're away, and then in reality, we were just watching The Ultimatum, and one of the ladies on there, and actually, I think I just misgendered her.
Yeah, I was one of the people.
One of the people on there. When I tell you this woman shuts down and runs away,
Bruh.
when I tell you this woman shuts down and runs away from conflict like nobody's business. But a lot of us are like that. We say one thing out of our mouth, like this is who we are, this is what we think, da 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 da, and then you show up completely different.
And you don't know that until you're in it.
Exactly.
I bet you that person you're talking about doesn't even recognize that that's how they respond, because that's just
second nature to
just
them.
You, right? You know, you're a shutter downer, or you're a lever, or you lean in, or you get frustrated. But when you watch that on TV, pursuer, then you're like, oh man, every time that person,
I
be
mean,
like,
unplug turn off the lights.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you what I'm not gonna do. Listen to this.
Right.
So, and that's the thing that marriage really brings to the forefront, because the whole point is you can't run away, you can't leave. So you really got to sit there and look at it and like, okay, how do I assess this?
And I'm laughing because
I am Mr. You. Where you gonna go? Where you gonna go?
Especially during the quarantine.
What are you gonna do?
Where are you going? So you could be mad. I know you mad.
I know you. She'll quickly text me, I'm leaving. I'm about to buy a plane ticket right now. I'm like, okay.
Finna go from Raleigh to Durham. I'm going to Durham and leave me alone.
Listen, we gonna be in Fayetteville in a couple weeks, girl. Just go and come to Fayetteville so I can send your run right on back to Raleigh.
right.
That's it.
Girl, what you doing here? Okay, we
I'll
can go
see
get
you
some
tomorrow
ice cream
morning.
and I'm gonna send you back to Elliot, okay?
And that's all I be needing, though.
I get it.
Really, if and he says it all the time, you're gonna miss us, and I will, because this is my new norm now.
Yes.
You know, I love being married and having my children, and I love this life that we created, but it is hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every single day is hard.
You know what I want? You just reminded me. I remember I had a job at Bank of America, and my opinion of that job changed dramatically just with the manager that I had, right? This is just the manager. The previous manager, she was like, you guys do your sales goals. I ain't tripping. We supposed to work 40 hours a week. Y'all be killing it. You work 32. Saturday's supposed to work from 9 to 2 or 9 to 3, but y'all killing it. We'll be 10 to 1. New manager came, and all she did was stick to the rules of the actual job. I'm talking about I hate this job now. I hate everything about it. We used to be able to have a full day off on Sunday and Tuesday. Now I got to work half days on Tuesday and Saturday. I only get one day off the day the bank's closed. I used to be able to leave at 1:05 on Saturday. Now I got to stay until 3 o'clock and make sales calls. Don't nobody want to be taking those sales calls on a Saturday afternoon, boy. These people is cussing me out every day.
Shona.
Right? And that's just one person at the job that changed my entire outlook. And I only had to be there during working hours. Melissa was mentioning it earlier, and so were you guys. The person they look the same, but they acting different. So you got a new manager in the same body as the old one. They used to not be tripping. Now you tripping? Well, what I'm supposed to do with this information? And now you're telling me I can't buy a plane ticket and leave?
Right.
Because I quit that Bank of America.
Yeah.
I said, let me tell you what I don't do. Work here anymore. It's not so easy to quit that marriage.
No.
I love it. So, okay, so let me hand it back to you because you know they're going to be in the comments fussing us out. Tell us, what are your takeaways thus far? I did want to encourage y'all. Because y'all are newly married, and we haven't had very many newly married couples on here, and you guys are in the thick of it. You are in the thick of it, but I mean, I know it sounds like you guys have a great community around you. But y'all, you can make it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the advice. Marriage Be Hard doesn't have to be an encouragement as much as it can feel relatable and it can make you feel seen. I think that's what it is. So you don't go around thinking everyone else's marriages aren't hard. Everyone else's marriages are so easy and they must have it all figured out. And look at us here struggling. We must be doing something wrong. We must not go together. I must have married wrong because why is this so hard? Let me tell you something. 20 years, I married the right man. Sometimes it be hard. Sometimes it be hard, and that's okay to say, and still tomorrow get up and commit to the same man. Okay, so tell us. I know I'm talking too much. Y'all can get me in the comments. It's fine. Tell us, what are your key takeaways in the last 5 years? You don't have to do, 2, 3, 4, 5, but just, if you guys want to bounce off each other.
I think the biggest takeaway from me is to consistently give grace.
Love that.
I think the biggest thing, like when we first got married, the first thing I ever said was, she needs my grace and not my wrath. And sometimes I have to revert back to myself in year 5 of saying that, because she really does. Like, what sense does it make for me to be mad at you at a mistake? Probably even, I might get a little bit mad at your words or what you say to me. But at the end of the day, like, the grace that has to be there and it's needed. Because fortunately, like, grace helps us to be able to just calm down, to settle, and to be able to remember like what the bigger picture is.
Love that.
Yeah, that's my big.
I actually wrote down something earlier today because I feel like God checked me on it, and
I love when God checks. I love when He checks.
It's actually one of the biggest things that I learned, but I didn't really realize it was a big thing until recently. But it's been just being able to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, man. That's good, Lorissa.
Shut up.
That's
Talk
good,
about it,
Lorissa.
Lorissa.
Seriously, because I have spent probably these past 4 or 5 years, the whole time, actually, the duration of our marriage, not really giving him the benefit of the doubt and getting mad at small things, or thinking that he's the enemy, or thinking that he's out to get me, or, just thinking that he set this bottle here to make me upset. And that's not the case. This man is literally on my team. He's for me. He's the number one person who's in my corner. And if nobody else in the world, he cares about me more than anybody else. He loves me more than anybody else. So why wouldn't I give him the benefit of the doubt? He's not out to get me. We're on the same team.
Especially with that 3-year-old running around causing me.
Yeah, I mean, through parenthood, through the hardships, we are on the same team. So I should be able to give him the benefit of the doubt. The same grace that he gives me, because he gives me grace. Okay. He's the most kind, patient man you'll ever meet in your life. And he's given me that consistently this whole time that we've been married. And so who am I to not give him the benefit of the doubt, So that's one of my biggest takeaways. And then also, I would say, watch how you say things. It's not exactly what you say, but how you say them, your tone and the message in which you deliver it. I was just listening to TD Jakes and his wife. They just recently put a YouTube video up about marriage and relationships, and I was listening to it, and he was saying, and my dad has said this my entire life, men like respect. They require respect, and it's not exactly what I say, because I would never intentionally disrespect him, but disrespect can come in through your tone.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned as well.
Praise the Lord.
Come on. Elliot said, amen. I concur.
Praise the Lord.
All right.
I don't got nothing to say. The Lord answers prayers.
He does. You know what? And he does deal with us. He deals with us in our silent moments. You know what I mean? You could somebody could say something, and for whatever reason, you heard it different this time. And so it lands on you a little bit different. You heard it a little bit different. And so you can apply it in a way that maybe you weren't able to, the gazillion times you've heard it before. My sister and I were just having this conversation with about someone else. And she was like, yeah, she was listening to a book actually. And the guy said, da 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 da. And she was telling me like I hadn't told her that 3,000 times. And I was like, yeah, she probably just heard it different that time. I don't know what to tell you, but for whatever reason, it was a rhema word when he said it, and it just didn't land on her the same when you said it. I don't know what to tell you. So anyway, that does seem to be the truth. Listen to me. Lorissa, Elliot, the Nelsons. Thank you guys so much. This was not only was it rich and encouraging, but I think it was probably one of the more relatable conversations we've had in a while, because again, marriage do be hard, okay, and the pandemic was an added layer of stressors. And there's a lot of marriages that crumbled out of in the midst of that, and there were some marriages that made it through, but now we're maybe still patching wounds that kind of happened through there. And you can come out, listen, wounds heal. They heal. Thank you guys so very much. Tell the people where they can find. I actually found Lorissa first on the YouTube. You had like was it an eyebrow tutorial that went viral? Yes. Okay, then. That's where I first found Lorissa. So tell the people where they can find you. Elliot don't really be on the socials that much.
No.
I try to encourage him to get on, but he's...
I don't have time because of this 3-year-old.
Come on.
No, but you can find me on YouTube. You just search my name, Lorissa Nelson. That's my channel name. And you can find me on Instagram at the Lorissa Nelson. And I am at Mother Wife on TikTok.
I love that. Mother Wife. I love that.
Yeah. And then you can find me on Instagram, the Elliot Nelson. And if you want to follow any of my YouTube stuff, you'll find the link up there.
Okay. What you be posting on the YouTubes, Elliot?
So currently I've been big on I'm trying to retire from corporate. I hope my boss don't see this. But no, I'm trying to like get out of corporate because we were on parental leave. I was on parental leave for 12 weeks. So I just got back and I realized that my time is really, 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 really important. Especially with the girls growing up, especially with some of the things that the Lord has put inside of me, my giftings and things that our current church is talking to me about, talking through. So I've been into trading Forex and things like that. Not the Forex that everybody else talk about, because y'all be trying to talk bad about other Forex traders.
Yeah, I was trying to understand it.
But no, trading Forex and being a full-time trader and just being able to make money that way, and also helping her with her business, and also building other business ventures that the vision that I have currently. So that's kind of the big thing. But right now, you're going to see a bunch of charts and me talking about how, I won this gold trade. And that's it.
A bunch of nerdy stuff. I see it.
Yeah. We do have a podcast too. So.
Oh, tell us about this. Okay. New podcast.
It's called On Air.
On Air. Oh, HEIR. Okay.
Yeah, HEIR.
That's
so
clever.
On Air podcast where we only did one season, which was 4 episodes. So we've been trying to get back, but again, it was only 4 episodes. And marriage be hard and life be hard, so we haven't got back to it. So yeah, we talk about just journey through marriage. We kind of felt like when we wanted to do a podcast that we didn't want to do a completion. Here's all the advice I got for you, instead of just talking through what we're navigating through at the time. And some of the also other things Larissa thinks I'm the Joe Budden of the Christian sphere. So she likes to pick at me about things that she knows I'm going to be irritated about, so I can fuss on him.
Because he likes pop culture stuff and things that are going on in the church. Well, he has a lot of good thoughts, and I'm like, you need to share these thoughts with the world because the brothers need help.
Yes,
I don't have time because it's 3-year-old.
Listen, carve out time for yourself. So you can do the things that are in your heart and in your mind. The last thing I was going to say is that thank you. That's it. That's all. Make sure you guys follow the Nelsons on all of their social media. Support them in any ways that you can. Thank you guys for your honesty, your vulnerability, your transparency. It's always greatly appreciated. And we will see. Thank you all, Kev.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.